So I just finished the main story of Cyberpunk 2077, and I completed all four endings. Technically, it's four endings, but in reality, it's closer to like two. But anyway, so I'm going to give my thoughts on the endings of the game, and what I think is probably the best ending is Pan Am's and the Aldecados. Now, the four endings of this game, it's like, okay, you can go with Rogue and Johnny to storm Arasaka Tower. You can decide to go with Pan Am and the Aldecados. You storm Arasaka Tower again, but this time you leave and you ride out with the Aldecados. The third ending is you and Johnny basically go and you storm the building yourself, which is a bit of a secret ending because you have to fulfill certain requirements in order to even play that one. And then the last ending is basically you give up your body for Johnny Silverhand. Now, despite the fact that you're prompted with basically three or four different choices, it really just seems as if no matter what you do, it's all more or less exactly the same. So, first of all, from a pure gameplay perspective, I thought the coolest ending in the game was the Arasaka ending, in which you accept Hanako's offer. She basically says that she can help to take the engram out of your biochip in the exchange for they avenge Saburo Arasaka's death. I saved Takamura, so he was there as well, and you learn that Saburo, his consciousness, his engram was uploaded to like the cyberspace, and they basically just take his son's body and they basically transfer his consciousness, kind of like what Johnny Silverhand is to you. So through the son's body, they have Saburo's consciousness in it, effectively bringing him back to life. Which, as I said, is very similar to what's going on with Johnny Silverhand. And I thought that it was Yorinobu. He was the son. I thought that was kind of cool. And Hanako survives in that one. In the other endings, you find out that Hanako didn't really make it out alive. I thought that one was cool. But then again, I was thinking at the same time, V probably wouldn't trust the Corpos anyway. And she'd probably suspect. I played female V, and she would probably suspect that they're up to something, or that they're using her as means to an end, which truthfully Takamura was. But I thought that ending was cool. Definitely had the coolest gameplay stuff. You, Takamura, and a few other dudes go and you storm Arasaka Tower. And every ending, you storm Arasaka Tower and you fight Atom Smasher. He's like the big final boss. As I said, this game doesn't really have like different endings. It's basically just those like two actual endings, maybe three, and you just decide what to do beforehand. And the three main endings, you storm Arasaka Tower. But when you accept Haneko's offer, she agrees to uphold her end of the bargain, and then you go to like this orbital space station, and they perform a bunch of tests on you. And then afterwards, Takamura shows up. He showed up in mine, I guess because I saved him, and he reveals, yeah, we did the surgery. The surgery worked out, but you're still gonna die in 6 months anyway. Sorry. And that's the whole ending. And then if you do Pan Am's ending, in which you storm Arasaka Tower with the Aldecados, that one is pretty cool because you have like this big underground tunnel. You still fight Atom Smasher. And that ending, Saul dies. Which is a shame, but that's what happens. And then you and Pan Am go and you leave Night City afterwards, after finding out you have like 6 months to live. Now, in all of these endings, except the Arasaka one, you can choose to either transfer your body to Johnny Silverhand, or you can choose to keep it yourself and just live out the rest of your days in Night City. But I just chose to keep my body in that ending and just ride away with Avocados and leave Night City, just because I thought that's probably what V would actually do. Now, letting Johnny Silverhand keep your body is fine, but, it's just like that wasn't the deal that they agreed to. And plus, it's just Johnny Silverhand in your body. He's going to do Johnny Silverhand things. Since I was romantically interested with Judy, she was my romantic partner in the game. Whenever we got to the Aldecados in Night City, Judy was actually there. So I think that was cool that, V and Judy can live out the rest of their days together. Or at least V's days, I should say. And then the third ending of the game was Rogue and Johnny Silverhand go and they storm Arasaka Tower. The Rogue ending was more or less the same as the Pan Am ending, except you don't approach him on the ground, you approach from the air. Very similar to like the big Arasaka Tower Red that they did previously. Rogue dies in that ending, and you do manage to take down Adam Smasher again. And then afterwards, you can make the decision of either keeping your body or giving it to Johnny and letting him keep it. So it really just seems like there's only like two actual endings to the game. Every ending is basically the same because you make the choice at the end. And then there's the secret ending in which you and Silverhand just go yourself and you storm Arasaka Tower. Very, very tough. There's really tough enemies. But that's basically all you do. And I didn't do that one. I could have because I had enough relationship with Johnny, but I just chose not to do that one. In my opinion, as I said earlier, my favorite ending is definitely when you and Pan Am and the Aldecados just go out and storm Arasaka Tower, and then you and Judy live out the rest of your days, like with the Aldecados in their camp. Because, I was about to say, plus, Judy wants to leave Night City anyway. It's just because I think that that's probably what V would actually do. But of course, Phantom Liberty gives you like entirely new endings. I know it takes place before the big final Hanako offer. But I could definitely understand why some people might think the endings to this game are kind of disappointing because it just really seems as if no matter what you do, V suffers the same fate. And I understand people probably really didn't like that about this game. But me personally, I thought the Pan Am ending was definitely the coolest, and that's what I went with. Simply because, as I said, I thought it was the most realistic ending, and it's definitely what V would actually do. Because she doesn't trust Corpos, and Johnny Silverhand especially doesn't. Now, of course, Hanako does uphold her end of the bargain, but at the end of the day, when the sun sets, the ending is still exactly the same. So nothing really changed. You're still going to be dead in 6 months. So it just seems like no matter what you do, no matter what happens, V is just doomed. Now, Phantom Liberty, as I said, does introduce some new stuff, and it takes place before the final mission of the game. It's basically just the developer saying, okay, cool, here's some more endings. And I'm going to check that out whenever I can. So those are my thoughts on the endings of Cyberpunk 2077. I liked the Pan Am ending the most, obviously, but as I said, from a gameplay perspective, the Hanako ending was certainly the coolest. So, Cyberpunk 2077, a great game all around. I highly recommend it. Certainly a lot better than it used to be.